In a world where hopium and common sense collide, starring the CryptoKeeper and BlockchainCrusader. Welcome to Debate Crypto. Crypto fam, it's your boys, CryptoKeeper and the BlockchainCrusader. I hope everybody is doing well tonight. But first and foremost, we need to find out. Miguelito, how are you doing, bro?
Yeah, well on Tiburon. I'm good, bro.
Good. I'm glad. Yeah, guys. So if it is your first time here, well, even if it's not your first time here, make sure that you guys do a couple things for us. Smash the likes for us. That's the first thing. That's like the number one thing that you can do. That tells YouTube, right, that you love what's going on. Miguel will be right back, but smash the likes. That's first and foremost. And then make sure that you guys subscribe. If you guys are not subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe. We're going to have a really deep conversation this evening for What If Wednesday. I'm excited for it. And if you want to get in on the conversation, get in on the action, you got to be subscribed. Let's get into it. So without further ado, let's do a market watch. Let me pull this up right quick. Let me share my screen and bada bing, bada boom. Let's do it. All right. So the biggest gainers, guys, we've talked about this one before. Bye-bye. That stupid thing, I swear. Ninja Floki. Guys, these biggest gainers, these recently added and these trending almost as a law are never things that you should probably be paying attention to if you want to have any sort of comfortability in your assets. So Bitcoin down about 4.36%, but it's up 2.6% on the week. ETH down about 3%, up almost 12.5% on the week. So that's banging. That's beautiful. It's held up well through today's drop. BNB down about 4.5%, pretty even over the course of the last week. We got Cardano down about 5.6%, hanging about zero, really close to for the week. Solana down 9.16%, but Solana made a big move over the last week, so they're still up almost 15%. XRP hanging pretty steady, as people like to joke, as Miguel likes to joke, as a stable coin, right? Terra Luna has taken a hit, and Dogecoin is down a couple percent. So, guys, the reality is we still have no good grasp on what exactly is happening in these markets. That's just a fact, right? There's no other nice, beautiful way for me to package it up and serve it to you. We just don't really know. Let's take a look and let's see what Market Cypher thinks about what's going on. Guys, if you are not subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe, right? And then we have Debate Crypto Academy, which is debatecrypto.academy. If you guys are looking to be personally involved with myself, Miguel, and a bunch of just awesome, I say a bunch, it's actually a pretty small group right now. There's about 30 people in our, we call it the DCA Dojo. If you want to get involved in that, if you want to be there for private seminars every single Sunday that Miguel and I pour our heart and soul into, if you want to be involved with members in the crypto space that ultimately care about you, where you can give me a call, we'll set up a hardware wallet. I had somebody give me a call yesterday talking about a problem that they ran into recently. We talked through that. Guys, we want you to be involved. Debatecrypto.academy. And also, we are giving away 1 year of Market Cypher para gratis for free to one of our members. So let's take a look at Market Cypher. I've got the 4-hour chart pulled up. So about 16 hours ago, if we zoom in here, about 16 hours ago, we had a big red X right here, right? And actually it's about 12 and a half hours ago, 13 hours ago. Big red X. That's never good. That means a dump is incoming, and we are working on it. We're down to about 36.8. The momentum wave is on the down, is on the downswing. We have got the let's see here. Let me pull this up a little bit. We've got the RSI down at about 38. Right, so that's definitely down. That's about the only bullish thing I see, because the MACD is on a downward move as well. So, guys, the reality is, let me look at the 1 hour. Let's just look a little bit closer here. Let's see if we got anything beautiful going on. 1 hour is not looking too great either. I mean, ultimately, the best thing that I could maybe see is, I guess, depending on how you. Well, no, you know what? We are just even on the hourly. You could probably argue that we are, You could probably argue that we are ranging a little bit here, that we're in a downward trading channel. If I could draw, I mean, I need to be able to draw first, but you could argue that we are in a downward trading channel. That's the worst trading channel ever. But we want to break out of that. And yeah, guys, let's get it rocking and rolling back to where we need to be. We do have a double green dot confirmation 3 hours ago, guys. That usually means upward mobility. Doesn't work every single time, but it definitely is a good thing. We've got the MACD on the hourly moving more towards the upside, and to have a bullish cross on the RSI. So that's what we got going on there, guys. We've got 18 people in here. Crypto fam, I appreciate each and every one of you. I want to show you guys something real quick. I want to show you the sweatshirt, right? Because this says think while it's still legal. Okay. Now, I know I'm probably going to get some flack from at least somebody in here tonight, but I want you guys to think when we get into this conversation. All right. I see a lot of the DCA fam in here. I see Bobby in here, right? I see Heidi ready to cause freaking chaos, right? I see Big Mike in the house, Sean, everybody up in the house. Bart's in here. We are super excited to get into this tonight. And yeah, let's talk about it. So here's what if, okay? And I am waiting for Miguel to come back here. So let me kind of introduce it. Miguel knows obviously what the content is tonight. But essentially the question, right, tonight is, what if Web 3, right? We can include Web 2 as well. Web 2 is considered social media, okay? Web 3 is considered blockchain, right? And then Web 4 is going to be the next step into like AI, right? Machine learning, some of that, right? And so Miguel and I have been talking a lot, and we always, first and foremost, we have your best interest at heart as well as ours, right? And so when we have these conversations with you, it is never to scare anybody. It is for A, entertainment purposes, and B, so that you do exactly what I'm saying here, so that you think, right? It puts your mind into a place where you can think for yourself and say, that's really interesting, and at least pay attention to things, not just take things at face value. So what if Web 3 and what will be Web 4 before too long, what if those are ultimately ushering us in and basically hitting the easy button to authoritarianism, right? Authoritarianism,
Dun, dun,
right? Yeah.
dun.
Authoritarianism basically being, guys, we are being ushered into, in the long run, something like a social credit score. So right off the rip, Miguel has not said a word yet. He had to run away real quick for just for a second. We're glad he's back. Miguel, tell me, when you hear me say, what if we've ushered in, or what if Web 3, what if blockchain, what if Web 4 AI is ushering us into, authoritarianism? What are your first thoughts when you hear that?
Well, my first thoughts are, why are people not blowing up the chat right now? So guys, let's bring the heat. Start blowing up the chat, right? I want to see some comments. I want to see some emojis. I want to see something going on in the chat. But yeah, my thoughts are that it's very possible, right? Everything can be abused and twisted in a negative way. We've had the internet twisted and manipulated in negative ways. We've had social media twisted, and all these little things that seem amazing in the short term are in the long term become corrupted and become an evil that we did not expect, right? We did not expect, when I was in high school, when I was in middle school, I wasn't thinking that, all these social medias were eventually going to be digging up all of our metadata and targeting us with ads and, and building these profiles on us that then would lead them to be able to persuade and target you with certain propaganda to sway elections one way or another, right? And all these kind of things, like, you would never think Facebook is just where people hang out and post pictures. Instagram, you just see what your friends are eating and they're posting pictures about it. But behind all that, there's so much more that the average person doesn't even think about, right? Now we have Alexas in our homes. We have smart TVs. We have smart homes in general. Just everything in the house is smart. And all those things are listening to you, voice activated, heat activated, presence activated. All that is gathering up data. and sending it back to the to the companies that created it to gather up more data. They know when you're home. They know how much time you're spending in front of your TV. They know what you're watching. They know how long you're watching it for. They know everything about you. The next thing we're going to have is smart toilets.
Yeah. I mean, literally, it's like, hey, you get a reminder on your phone, like you didn't take your normal morning, session on the toilet, right? Um, you know, it is wild because okay, so I'm a few years older than you, Miguel. Actually, probably a few years older than you. I think what am I like 9 years older than you? You're 28, right?
Only 9?
Yeah, I know. I know. Thank you. Appreciate that. I know the gray accentuates it. I get it. I'm already self-conscious enough, but thank you. But yeah, so Miguel, when I was in high school, it started off, we still had like it. I literally had a pager, first of all, right? So
That
like
was
I was
when Morgan Freeman was young, right?
right, exactly. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And the technology at that point, right, was we were at that point listening to CDs. DVDs were just coming out, right? They were like this new thing. I remember my dad spent like $700 on a DVD player, and he was the first person. My friends were like, "Whoa, what the heck is that?" And I remember my dad telling people. I think I might have told this before, but I remember my dad telling people like, Blockbuster is going to be having DVDs soon. They're going to get rid of the VHS. And I'm like, get out of here. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? And that was some forward thinking. Well, fast forward, we get to Facebook as a great example. And Facebook did start out as this thing where when I was in college, I think it was my first year in college, my first and only year in college, getting my partying degree. I got that degree quickly, and then they exit stage left, right? It got a little, um, and it was a place for socialization, hanging out, right? So Web 2 becomes social media. So Web 1, the internet, okay? The internet starts off, so let's back up a little bit. The internet starts off with essentially email at its core, being able to send a piece of mail from point A to point B. And there was literally talk that it was a fad, right? That nobody will ever do that. Everyone's going to want to continue to use the postal service, this, that, and the third. Like it'll never happen, right? Fast forward to now. What's the main way people communicate other than like text messages and FaceTime and whatnot? They communicate via email, right? So in comes social media. And social media, I think at its core, when it first started, I truly do believe that it was made to be social. I literally think, I don't think Mark Zuckerberg, listen, you can call him evil, you can hate him all you want. I think when he started Facebook, remember it was Hot or Not. And it was like rating, like originally it was like rating. If you guys have ever seen the video on that, it was like him rating the attractiveness of other people at school. And so I do think that it started off innocently as, hey, this is a social place where we can interact. And it started that way. But now, let's just fast forward all the way to now. I literally can't say anything with my phone or anywhere near me without then opening up Facebook. If I'm on Facebook, I'm not even on there very much anymore. But if I open up Facebook, there is an ad for that thing. Miguel, I forget what it was not too long ago, but you and I were talking about something very specific. And then I was like, bro, you know what I mean? And everybody's got these stories now. And I remember when it first happened, it was like, no, it's just a coincidence. It's just in my brain. Da, 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 da. Well, what social media has turned into is an advertising platform, right? It has turned into another way for these companies to dive into your personal life and inject themselves in and say, hey, here I am. You need to buy this, right? And so it started off great, and then it kind of meandered. Now let's talk about crypto as it started. So let's start on the front end. Crypto starts off with Bitcoin, and it's just, hey, it's a peer-to-peer. It's a way for people to pay without involving the big banks and the government, right? Slowly but surely, what do you see happening? It starts off as this decentralized idea, and very slowly but surely, who controls crypto at this point? Being honest, the exchanges do, right? Excuse me. The exchanges have the massive amount.
Exchanges, institutions, yeah.
Yeah, it's companies, right? It's centralized figures that we initially wanted to keep out, right? But the reality is that's not real life. And so that shift is starting to happen. And on its face, it's a beautiful thing, crypto, right? But it also is a public ledger. So now the privacy, if they're able to identify it as being yours, which again, that technology is building and changing all the time as well, the privacy is slowly but surely being eroded away. Miguel, take it from there. Privacy is being eroded away, right? Blockchain can be and is this beautiful thing. However, it is starting to be cranked a little bit, just like social media was. Where is this heading? How did we get to where we're at right now?
Yeah, so perfectly coincidentally, today I put it up a vote on, a little poll on Twitter, on Debate Crypto OG on Twitter. Guys, go check it out if you're not following us on Twitter yet. Saying, should crypto be private or public? Should it stay transparent and public? And they voted either privacy or public. 80% of the votes,
private.
Public.
Really?
Yes, public. Right?
Come on, back this up. Say this again, because I didn't see that. I didn't see this was on the Academy today. I was with my grandma.
No, not in the Academy. On Twitter.
Okay.
On Twitter, I put up a poll that says, should crypto focus on keeping blockchain transparent and public, or focus on privacy? 80% of the votes were transparent and public.
Please tell me there was only 3. Please tell me there was only 3 votes and like 2 of them.
No.
Oh my gosh.
There's a lot more than that. So what's that telling you? People are willingly want to put their data out there, right? I like that things are transparent in the blockchain, but to an extent, right? We are now seeing that Litecoin has implemented the Mimblewimble after finally like 5 years, which brings a layer of privacy into Litecoin. Monero, a coin that no one ever talks about, is privacy specific, right? But Mimblewimble being on Litecoin, we know that if it works on Litecoin, it can eventually be transmitted and ported over to Bitcoin, and Bitcoin can have this and also have some layer of privacy. Their layers of privacy are important, right? You don't always want the government, right, knowing where you're spending your money, right? When you swipe your credit cards, if you've seen any movie, you've seen any crime movie, when somebody commits a crime, the first thing the FBI is doing is looking for, okay, check out any of their credit cards, any bank activity, where are they spending, where are they, and they start tracking you that way, right? Because you got to pay for gas, you got to pay for food, you got to eat something, right? And most people no longer carry cash. So they're going to swipe the card, and they'll be like, oh, snap, how'd you find me? Come on, man. So with crypto, it's the same way, right? It's cool that, a lot of things are public and should stay public. But if I wanted to send Nick some amount of Bitcoin, some amount of whatever crypto.
Feel free.
Why can't I have that private? Why does everybody need to know that I sent X amount to Nick, right? Nobody needs to know that. That's private information. So there should be things that are private, right? In reality, what should be is the government should be on a public blockchain and the citizens should be on a private blockchain, right? We live in a messed up world where we have now been indoctrinated to think we serve the government. We must do everything we can to give our services to the government so that they know what to do and they know what everyone is doing. But it's okay that they don't tell us anything. It's okay that they lie to us. It's okay that they withhold information. It's okay. They're doing it for our benefit. When it's the reverse,
not okay.
It's not okay, right? They should never be lying to us. They should always be upfront about everything to us, the people, because they work for us, right? We voted them in to represent our benefits. We didn't vote them in to represent their own benefits. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah. I'm with it, man. I think I won't dive into this story much just because I think I've kind of told it before, but I saw some technology when I was in the Marine Corps that would blow your mind. And
come on, bro, blow the whistle. Blow the whistle, bro.
The first thing I thought I told this before. I'll tell
whistleblower.
I'll tell it briefly because it just kind of, it is what it is, and I'm not in anymore. But essentially, we were able to have someone. We were in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean on a battleship, and we were able to have somebody put a postage stamp on their driveway out front of their house real time and write something on the postage stamp. And we were able to, in real time, zoom in on the person putting the postage stamp down and read what the pen writing on the postage stamp said from the middle of the Atlantic Ocean to there. Heidi said Big Brother is always watching. Oh boy, I can tell you this. So I believe that as well. Actually, I know that, right? But if you ever have any question as to whether they have the ability to, if you ever think like, well, I wonder if they could do that. Yes. The answer is yes. I wonder if, yes. Do you think that? Yes. Okay. And so the technology,
no,
that's a different what if. And so what I'm trying to get at is, we're not trying to be doom and gloom. We're not trying to scare you. We're not trying to have anybody leave here tonight like looking over their shoulder, like wonder what's going on. What we're trying to do is make sure that you do exactly what we're talking about. And it's like, think, right? Your privacy is important. And I'm not talking about, you don't need privacy to like hide from your taxes. I'm not talking about that. We're not talking about doing anything on the Silk Road. That's how it gets portrayed, though. You get portrayed as if you want to, well, what do you have to hide? Right? What do you have to hide? If you're not doing anything wrong, then you got, you know what I mean? It used to be the argument, like when I was living a lifestyle that I shouldn't have been, right? That was always the thing. Like, well, I mean, you just tell me this, and this, because if you're not doing anything wrong, then it doesn't matter. And it was a good argument from that standpoint, right? But we move over into this, and we're talking about literally every single part of our life, because guess what? Our money tells the story. That's why the FBI goes and looks at your transactions, right? And here's the deal. It starts with money, right? Because money is that central figure that everyone needs to continue to survive. And they will do what? They will exchange at a minimum. There's an exchange of value between people all day, every day. Even if the government is taken out of it, there is that exchange of value. There has to be, even if we break it all the way down to bartering, right? Just straight up bartering. There is an exchange of value at all times. But here's where it heads. It starts there because that is how things move, by exchanging value. But then we move one step further into some of this technology. We're moving into the metaverse now, right? Now, all of a sudden, we are having a digital representation of ourselves and actively engaging in what would otherwise normally be quote unquote real life activities, right? It's another digital fingerprint of what you've been doing with your time, where you've been, where you're shopping, what do you like? And the crazy thing is that literally, you've heard this before, the most valuable thing on planet Earth right now is freaking data. Because if I know think about this, if I know everything about you and I'm trying to date you, right? I would have to be to not be able to execute on that and be able to get what I want out of the situation. If you know everything about somebody and you're not able to manipulate a situation, well, then you just suck, right? You just don't have it together, right? And so that's what kind of can happen here if we don't put some stop gaps, if we don't put some basically it's a word I'm looking for, if we don't basically have some sort of control, some point of controls where we can say, hey, you know what, X, Y, and Z can happen, but A, B, and C, well, it can happen, but this has got to happen in between. If we don't do that and we just let this run rampant, guess what? Our government, not just the United States, all over the world, will do exactly what they're doing elsewhere right now. And they will exert their power, they will exert their control, and they will try to push you as far as they can before saying, okay, yeah, they're not really letting me push them much further than this. And this is where I can see this heading with not just Web3, but also Web4. That's a whole nother story we'll get into in a little bit with AI and machine learning. So I just see it as a slippery slope that, we need to be aware of what a beautiful thing we have and how do we not corrupt it. Right? Isn't that ultimately what it is, Miguel? We have this beautiful thing in cryptocurrency. We have this beautiful opportunity in blockchain. They have this ability to take the government and boom, put them off to the side. We have the ability to take some of these massive companies and say, boom, put them off to the side, right? We have that ability. But I'm telling you right now,
but we choose not.
We're gonna screw this up. And
it's already screwed.
Right now, it's already screwed up.
It's already screwed, right? What do we have? HBAR, ran by a council of like 27 or 37, whatever it is, companies. What do we have? XRP, right? What do we have? More and more companies enforcing the traditional system in the new system, and people going for it because they come from a point of authority. It's like, oh wait, company A, B, and C are investing in this, or are running this DAO, or are backing this crypto. That's the crypto I want, guys. That's where the corruption comes from. You can't the traditional system, whatever they are, Google, whatever. They're not going to change because they've entered crypto. They're like, okay, this is the crypto land, so we got to be nice. We got to play by their rules. No, they're trying to stick their hands in there to manipulate things, so then bring it back to their point of control, right? Facebook getting into the metaverse is only bullish in the short term of getting awareness out there, right?
Yeah.
What did it do? It blew up the metaverse coins. But we know with Zuckerberg being in the metaverse, he is just going to manipulate the metaverse to his advantage, not to our advantage, right? And he's going to try to kill off competition if he can. That's what he's always done. He buys out smaller companies and he doesn't let anybody compete with him, right? When another company comes around and they implement something, they either absorb them or they replicate what they've done, and then they die out, right? Yeah. Look what Twitter did. Clubhouse was like the next big thing that came out right before, and what did Twitter do? Boom, created spaces. Clubhouse, dead, right? Yep. TikTok came out, blew up. What is YouTube doing? YouTube Shorts, right?
Yep.
Trying to consume TikTok's attention, right?
Take market share. Yep.
Exactly, right? Because they're already huge. So it's a little different with TikTok. TikTok has still succeeded. They were a little bit late to the game with TikTok, but in many other times, right? Instagram bought up by Facebook. Oculus Rift bought up by Facebook. A bunch of things were bought up by Facebook and multiple of these companies. And every time one of these big companies, every time one of these big investors, every time a government or somebody comes out, right, pro crypto, people fall all over, head over heels. Right? They need the what's the word? They need the validation from these points of authority that yes, this is a good thing. I'm doing it, so now you should do it. What they don't tell you is what they actually want to do with it, and what they're actually going to be doing with it is tracking you, observing you, stealing your data, right? HBAR is not going to lead us into a decentralized world, right? HBAR is not going to do that. XRP is not going to do that, right? None of these cryptos are going to do that. And the cryptos that are for decentralization, like Bitcoin, will, and they are trying to be consumed by centralized forces to be able to suppress it, right? Why do you think we have so many derivatives and futures trading, right? But we don't have a spot ETF. Why? Because it's with the futures, they can suppress Bitcoin's price. They can keep it down. They can keep it under control. Oh, guys, we had a long squeeze. Whoopsie. Too many people were over leveraged. Easy justification for Bitcoin to plunge $10,000.
Yep.
Easy justification. That's all we saw last year. Plunge. Oh, people were just over leveraged. Oh, people were just over leveraged.
It is. It literally. It's 100% manipulation, and we'll get into this in a minute. But it pushes us towards this, social credit score, right? So we'll talk about that in a second. First of all, I want to take a pause real quick. First of all, guys, if you have not smashed the like, make sure you please, if you're on mobile, X out of the live chat. It takes 2 seconds. Just X out, boom, hit the like, and then come right back into the live chat. We would appreciate that. I do want to stop just 1 second here. I want to take a quick second to thank Heidi. Heidi, thank you very much for the super chat. You are always supporting us, sweetheart. We appreciate you very much. She says NFT artwork for the debate crypto babies. Listen, we got some beautiful babies, right? We made some beautiful babies, or we helped. right? We did our 12 and a half seconds worth of work. Okay. And then, you know, the ladies took care of the rest. Right. Yeah, I think you know what, it'd have to be somebody that could really do some artwork to give any sort of, what's the word I'm looking for, to basically show how beautiful our babies are. So we appreciate that, Heidi. I want to touch on a couple things, Miguel, that you were just talking about that Bobby has mentioned in here, right? So two things. One, Bobby was talking, and we've talked about this before. Guys, put a 1 into the chat if you think that Web3 and Web4, which is going to be AI, is going to be able to be held and controlled by the people, like DAOs and things like this. Or put a 2 if you think that the government is indeed going to be able to swoop in and take control. So a 1 if you think the people can hold it, and a 2 if you think the government's going to be able to take it. But Bobby says maybe politicians aren't happy with crypto because when the digital dollar comes, things start to become more transparent, including the political spending. Bobby, here's what I got to say about that. First of all, genius, right? Absolutely. When we've talked about this some before, the problem with this is, and I'm going to tell you right now, the government isn't stupid enough to put themselves, it's the rules for thee, but not for me. They're not going to put themselves on a public blockchain. I'm going to tell you right now, it freaking will not happen. It won't, because social media already puts the government and politicians and in a spot, right? Think about this. It used to be politicians could say whatever, whenever, before everybody had a cell phone. And then it would just be like some random people saying, well, remember when he said that? No, that's not what he said. This is what happened. Well, now it's literally like, oh yeah, really? Because I've got it right here, right? And so I believe that there is no way that they will put themselves in the position to be actually on paper. I mean, it's already in video, a ton of the things that they've lied to us about and talked about, and they continue to try to propagate the lie, right? Now you want to put it onto a ledger, and it's like, hey, right, this is how you spent this. I don't think they'll do it. But the other part is, and this is where Bobby was kind of getting, like, I want to see how these officials get funded as well, right? So when crypto does take over, we need to have crypto-centric people in office. We need to be voting for people that genuinely understand the crypto space, because if we don't, we're going to have people that come into office that say, how can I manipulate this crypto thing? How can I utilize this for my betterment? How can this work out better for the administration? Not about, hey, how does this benefit the people? Because the reality is that's the problem right now. It's not about how does this benefit the people. It's about how does this give the government more control? How does this give the government more access to funding?
Politicians need to be put on smart contracts. I've said it before and I'll say it again. They need to be put on smart contracts, and they run on their campaign promises, right? In their smart contracts, right? They're campaigning and saying, hey, I'm pro Bitcoin. I'm going to do X, Y, Z, yada, yada. Vote for me, right? Okay. XYZ, that's all in your smart contract, my friend. If by the time the election is up, you didn't complete any of those, you're automatically out. You cannot run again. You are penalized. Wow. You are penalized for not completing your smart contract. You're out.
So don't be making, that's crazy. So don't be making these crazy big promises unless you're prepared to fulfill a set number or percentage of. You know what I think also?
They'll get honest real quick. You know this economy problem, it's a lot more complicated than what it seems.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. And I also thought of this, Miguel, and I don't know how this would work, but what if we could have a politician as a DAO, like a DAO, because it's supposed to be that right now, but it is not. Call your senator. Yeah, right. Get out of here. This freaking senator is not reading your mail, for one. For two, if somebody is reading it, it's not like there's a conversation being had unless there's 10 million of those, right? How cool would it be? We're moving into this Web3, Web4 universe where we say, okay, fine. You know what? Here, this is who we want to vote for. We want to vote because everything's moving towards computers, right? So why could a DAO, right, which represents a plethora of people, right, thinking one way or the other, if you get enough people involved in actually making the decision and actually get to vote on things, yeah, it might convolute some things. Yeah, it might slow some things down. Yes, it probably will present some of its own problems, just like decentralization does. But the reality is, it also might achieve some great things. It might achieve some actual transparency. It might achieve the ability for us to actually know that the decisions being made were of the people, not just because this handshake deal happened somewhere and it benefited, X, Y, and Z, and they can manipulate and spin the idea in a certain direction so that you feel some type of way about it. We live in cancel culture now. You can't freaking say anything to hurt somebody's feelings, right? But what if we had a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization, for those of you that don't know what that is, that ultimately is genuinely a constituent, right? Like a constituent in and of itself. It represents the constituents, and you can actually have voting rights like legitimately on. I think it really would be wild.
I think every state should be its own decentralized organization, its
Ooh.
own DAO. People vote for their representatives, right? Their representatives are put into power in the state, and they are put on smart contracts. You run on this and this and this promise. We voted you for that exact reason. Now make it happen. Oh, you didn't make it happen? You're out of here. Your contract is up. It's invalidated. You can't run again. You're not running. You're a freaking rug pull. Out of here, right? Making politicians. If you want to be a career politician, you better work those ass cheeks, bro, because it's gonna be hard. It's not gonna be a breeze. It's not gonna be a walk in the park. Just sit back, smoke your cigar, have your cup of whiskey, and have backdoor deals. Because if you're not keeping up with the smart contract, with what you promised and what people wanted, you are out. There's no lying about it. There's no, if this, but this or that. Oh, don't worry. Elect me a second term. In the second term, I'll get it done. I just need more time. There's no second chances. It's now or it's never.
Yeah. I literally, man, and this is what we're talking about right here. Sean put it together really well. Both of these are cool ideas. A blockchain to track, measure, and facilitate political promises, all governed by a DAO. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, the reality is this could work, right? And so we have the one side of things that we came on talking about, like, what if we're moving towards this, authoritarianism, right? And that is the one side of this, right? Is that if we continue to allow people to make decisions for us that are genuinely not for us, and we sit back and say, you know what? I can't do anything about it, or I'm not going to vote because my vote doesn't even really count, or or ultimately, like, I'm scared, right? I don't want to speak up, right? That's the reality is part of the reason, because we're seeing it all over the place. I'm not going to get political with this, but we're seeing it all over, where people are gathering together and standing up and saying enough is enough on certain issues, right? Guess what's happening, right? The state is backing down, right? It's happening in New York City right now. I mean, as far as a lot of different,
it's
things
happening
right
in
now.
many places around.
It's happening all over the place right now. And so what I guess I'm proposing is that if we continue to allow other people to make decisions for us, and we just take it at face value and watch the news and believe what's being fed to us, and we don't think while it's still legal, if we don't do that, we are putting ourselves we're putting ourselves in the frying pan, right? We are just putting ourselves ready to whoever wants to flip us and turn us and burn us however they want to. But the idea of this DAO, if we actually come together and actually say, okay, we as a people, and there's really not much you could say about it, right? Because the way that our voting system works right now with the electoral college, right? I think it's deeply flawed.
It's pretty much, it's closely related to a DAO too.
But it's deeply flawed in how you only really need to win certain, like they chase after certain specific demographics of people in certain areas, and they literally it encourages them to It encouraged them to spin. It encourages them to lie. It encourages them to just act in a way, act as if I have this best interest in heart. And I just don't think that we can continue like this much longer.
If you don't vote for me, you ain't black.
Exactly. And so let's step forward. So the one side is we continue to let it go. So let's talk that through. Now, how long before we're China? How long before every single thing that we do, okay, now it's on blockchain, okay, Bitcoin's worth a bunch of money, okay, ETH is worth a bunch of money, okay, but every single little thing you do affects whether you're able to, what prices you get at the grocery store, where you can go, where you can't go, when you're able to be outside of your home, right? It could move towards that Chinese authoritarianism quick. And that's what I'm scared about. Do you see that as well, Miguel? Like that possibly pushing that way?
Yeah, and this comment over here by Sean, it makes perfect sense, right? For years, we were fearful of Big Brother taking over our country and our lives, but sadly, we willingly handed over our data with social media, and we all became Big Brother without realizing. We literally monitor ourselves and cancel ourselves. The government doesn't even need to get involved. But with that being said, with what you're saying, right, it's exactly that. With crypto, right, and the social credit situation, it's easy as this. Oh, you invested in ETH, but you didn't invest in XRP. You're not holding XRP. Oh, we don't like that. Little X right here.
Demerit.
Yeah, little X right here, right? Oh, you don't have enough XRP, or you don't have enough of the investments in crypto that we approve of, so you can't shop at this store. I'm sorry, your credit score is not high enough. See you later. And things like that, right? Where they will spin and push, right? The traditional system will claw itself into this crypto space, which was a revolution from the traditional system.
Yeah.
Claw itself in, is like, oh, you're not holding ISO 222 coins. Oh, I'm sorry, you're not investing in the proper channels here. So little demerit right there. We don't want you holding Ethereum. Oh, we don't want you holding Monero. You're holding privacy coins. Oh, no, that's not good. That's not good, right? And then all these things get held against you, and then when you have your smart
this conversation right now, we're X'd out.
Yeah, we are, right? And then you have your digital dollars, right? Your digital dollars will have conditions. Oh, you can't invest in Coinbase with your digital dollars into Ethereum or into Bitcoin. No, it needs to be XRP, or it needs to be this, right? If we have issues and we have transactions canceled when they get sent to Coinbase now through a traditional banking system because they don't like crypto, once the digital dollar is in place, the digital dollar is going to be like, not here, not here, not here, yes here, and yes here. Those are your only options. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. There's nobody you can call and say, hey, I'm approving this transaction. There's no reason to not allow this to happen. The bank's gonna be like, sorry, we don't control that. That's just a digital dollar. That it
works the way it is. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, no, I see it, dude. And it is, somebody said in the chat, Sandman said they already do that now as to an extent with your credit score. And, the way that a credit score actually works is actually a little bit sideways. I used to manage a couple car dealerships, and I do understand the credit system pretty well. And the way that it actually works, it would be one thing if it just, was like, hey, you pay your bills, you pay them on time, therefore this person is, worthy of, even if you want to get into, hey, do they have enough money? What does your monthly income look like? Okay, fine. I can understand that. You've got to be able to repay the debt, right? But it goes so far as to, we're going to offer you all of this credit, right? Let's say you max out all these cards, but you're paying them off every single month on time, no problem, right? What's the problem? You're the one paying interest. The companies are benefiting from it, but it looks to them as a liability, right? And so what does that do? It kills your credit score. So you're right. That's them having control over that because that's how they want it to be, because that's how they believe it makes sense. And and I think that very quickly we are on a slippery slope if we allow ourselves to be, I don't even want to say pushed in that direction. We have to step in that. We have an opportunity right now to say enough's enough and fight back. What were you going to say?
The worst part is that we're not even being pushed in certain directions anymore.
No, we're just allowing it to happen.
We were pushed in certain directions a long time ago, and we started walking down the path, and now we don't even, there's no resistance anymore. There's no pushing us certain ways. We're just walking on our own, and they're like, that's right. Keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going, big boy. That's right. Keep going. They're not even, and then there's no way of, it falls back on us. You know, we were pushing you. No, you did that on your own. You voted for that. You asked for this. You chose that, right? You wanted crypto. You wanted the metaverse, right? This is what you wanted. We gave you what you wanted. It just ended up. It's like that whole thing, right? The little like in the movies and stuff. When there's a genie involved, and you ask for a wish. The genie's sole purpose is to try to convolute the wish to try to screw you by giving you what you asked for, but it's not what you were expecting. And it's like that's what you asked for. We gave it to you. I don't know what you're talking about. You can't blame me, right?
We gave you exactly what you asked for.
Yeah, dude. And the metaverse, right? Web3, all these things are going to be more encroaching on privacy. Zero privacy. We know privacy doesn't exist now. It's only going to get worse and worse and worse. Only more data and more data is going to be collected from the people. More people are just going to be put to sleep inside the metaverse, right? Inside these digital worlds, and just like, don't pay attention to what's happening in the real world. Go check out these things, right? It's just like back in Rome. And it's amazing how things have not changed since the Roman times. Give the people games, give the people wine, and give them bread. And the masses will calm, right? They will forget about the wars. They will forget about, the famine. They will forget about the plagues. They will forget about, the genocide that's happening. They'll forget about all of it, and they'll love you because you provided conveniences to them.
Yeah, and I actually want to disagree with this, Matasuki. You said, I think as long as there's a way to have anonymous accounts, it should be fine. I hate to tell you this, but you still have to as of right now, you still have to on ramp to get started, right? So by default, you don't have privacy there, right? You still have to off ramp if you need to move back into fiat, if you need to move back into US dollars. You have to off ramp somewhere, right? Why do you think it's set up that way? It's set up that way for exactly that, so they know where things are going, so ultimately we can be taxed. If you think your MetaMask is actually private, then you have done a number of you have done a number of basically burner moves to get yourself to where you believe that it is that. Now, could you have some anonymity there? Yeah, for sure. Is there some anonymity right now in crypto? Yeah, for sure. Is there beautiful things that can happen as a result of using cryptocurrency? Yeah, for sure. Are we bulls on the space? Yeah, for sure. Do we believe that it can do good? Yeah, for sure. None of that changes any of this. But what we're trying to say is we have to step up and take a stand as it relates to what we're willing to let go and what we're not. And so I think that a lot of what's going to happen as it becomes like regulations as they come out, right? Like the regs that are in, like the fact that the very first essentially regulations that are coming out about crypto throw out the idea that anyone making or receiving transactions should be considered a broker. Guys, that's not just trying to be, this is not like a slick move. This is literally saying, hey, we need KYC everywhere across the board. We want to know every single Satoshi that's spent, no matter what, no matter where, no matter when. That's the first thing they went after, right? Think about it. That's all they're asking for. That's all they're asking for. No. Enough is enough, right? We have to be able to stand up and say no. And we are moving into this digital, we've already been there, but we're moving into a more and more digital landscape. We're moving into Web 4, which is AI, right? Now what happens? Let's take it one step further. Now let's say we allow some of these things to become normal. Let's say a lot of the stuff that's happening right now becomes normalized. Well, this AI learns from somewhere, right? It's artificial intelligence, and it's learning from, right? And so if we lay the groundwork that, hey, this is normal, this is okay, and you learn from this, where are we headed? We're headed to where essentially Terminator, right? We're headed to Skynet. We're headed to a place where
Ultron,
these machines,
right?
where these machines ultimately say, well, we'll make the decisions for you. By the way, you guys said back here that it was this great thing. So we took it and went further and further and further. We made it better and better and better and better, better being a freaking fallacy. And so I am worried, like raising my daughter, and Miguel, I think you feel the same way. Like, where are we headed? Because there's got to be a line where, like, okay, this is great. This is a great thing. And this can absolutely change our world as we know it, not just financially, right? So, because that, Miguel, we've been seeing that happen for ourselves, right? It is doing those great things for us, and it can do those great things for you. It's where's the line for what we're going to allow push into our personal lives and our data and our information.
There's a quote that says something, I'm going to butcher the quote, but the quote basically in the essence says something about like freedom is vigilant, right? And it's like, you need to stay vigilant on what is happening constantly in your government, in your representatives, in your local community, everything, to maintain freedom. If you slack on your vigilance and you just let things slide, they build and they snowball and they snowball. And eventually they're out of control so far that you have no idea where to start in the first place. And there's already so much power consumption happening in certain institutions, governments, whatever it is, certain laws. There's no turning back. Once the government reaches and grabs onto a new power, that power will never be let go again. It'd be very, very difficult to let it go.
Yeah.
So it's very complicated. You need to be very vigilant. And with crypto, we need to always stay vigilant and make sure that crypto is headed in the way we want it to head, right? Towards decentralization, right? Towards democratization of money, not allowing these massive corporations coming in, running crypto projects, running these things and pretending they're our friend when they've never been our friend in the first place. And then everybody dropping their bottom dollar into it because, oh, Google's involved. They're amazing. They're awesome. No, screw Google. Google's not going to help you, right? Google literally removed "do not be evil" from their mission statement. So what are they saying? Hey, bro, we're going to be evil as you want, and you can't do anything about it because we run the internet, right? So don't allow these corporations get into these projects, and don't invest in these projects just for the greed of making money from these projects, because all you're doing is you're empowering them to push out the good out of crypto and bring in the evil from traditional systems back in here.
Imagine this. I couldn't have said it better, Miguel. I think we need to definitely clip that. That was great. Imagine this, okay, guys. Ultimately, here's what I want to kind of wrap it up with. Imagine if everyone in here held 100% of their net worth in crypto, right? That's funny, Matasuki. Imagine if everybody in here, there's 30 people in here right now, right? There's 30 of us in here, and we all, let's say we live in a community, right? It's our own, it's this debate crypto community, right? It's the Debate Crypto Academy, right? DCA fam. You should be a part of that anyway. And we all use our crypto to transact. And we all custody our own crypto. There is now effectively never a need to on or off ramp our crypto, right? Or there's never a need to get a centralized entity involved, because theoretically, if every single person in the world right now started transacting with crypto, and we whittled it down to a few that we just absolutely every single person accepted, right? Theoretically, we could push out all of these companies and we could exchange value without ever bringing these banks into it. So we do, whether you think we have the power or not, we do have the power. The problem is we're going to get pushed back so hard that it's going to inconvenience us. And once we feel inconvenienced, we give up, right? And that is not what we need to be doing. That inconvenience needs to turn into, oh, you're going to make things inconvenient for me? Well, let me show you a little something. And we show that as a group. We show that as a DAO. We show that as a formation of warriors that say, this is the world that we want to push forward. This is the world that we want to see. This is where we want to head, not where you want to push us. And so I guess to kind of bring it, all together, guys, we have
don't be a sheep.
We have two options. We can allow this beautiful thing that's called cryptocurrency to be absolutely just, diminished and stomped on and used for corruption the same way every other currency has been used. Or we have an opportunity via smart contracts, via decentralized autonomous organizations, via some of these things, via blockchain, which is public in nature, to be able to create this beautiful, beautiful thing. And it can absolutely happen. We need to fight for it, though. So let's not give the government the easy button. Let's not give these massive centralized companies the leverage over our lives to make decisions for us. Let's push towards a brighter future. Let's push towards decentralization. Let's push towards DAOs. Let's push towards us making the decisions together as a like-minded group of individuals that wants to see better for our future. So that's kind of where I'm at. I know that's where you're at, Miguel. We've talked about it a lot. Crypto fam, listen, we love each and every one of you. We appreciate you guys, everybody in the chat. If you haven't already, make sure you smash the like before you jump out of here. Drop a 1 in chat if you guys enjoy the What If Wednesdays. Drop a 2 in the chat if it's just not your favorite. We would love to hear from you guys. Ultimately, this is about you guys. I know the stream was a little bit slow this evening. So I saw a few less people. I don't know, if everybody's just busy doing stuff, but I just want to know that you guys are engaged, that you guys like this. I hope that we've brought some good content into your lives. Again, we appreciate you guys and we love you. And until next time, hodl.
Like it's hot.